Hello and welcome to another edition of Santos on Sports, along with my partner in crime, Mr. Chris Santos. I am Paul Santos. Welcome in. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Scotty's Pub of Fall River, Citywide Glass of Dartmouth, Fall River in Taunton, Lakeville Athletic Club in Lakeville, and of course, attorney John B. Seed. Well, how are you doing, Chris?
Well, with my day off today, I was hoping for a little better weather and be able to get outside and do a couple of things. But instead, I was sitting on the couch, took a little remote control, put on Nesson and watched the Boston Bruins for the second time. As you can see my TV on in the background, just finishing up that game, which leads to our question, Paul, of the day. Who's off to a better start, the Patriots or the Bruins? So with basketball right around the corner too, we might be saying the same thing with the Celtics when this comes up. But, starting with that, I'm going to go first, Paul, on this question. And to me, these are two similar teams, Paul. This is incredible. This is two new coaches this season, Sturm and Vrabel. This is two former players of each team. Sturm played for the Bruins and Vrabel played for the Patriots. Young kids, new linemen, same with the Bruins up front, trying to get an identity. Both teams on offense, trying to score for the offense for the Pats with May, and obviously with Pasternak with the Bruins. But to me, Paul, and, I was talking over with a couple of guys, I'll have to agree right now, I'll go with the New England Patriots. And the reason being, this is an 80-game season for the Boston Bruins. This is only the first week and the first couple of games. The Pats only play 17 games. They're in week 7 now, and they're 4-2. So, to me, I have to say that it will be the Patriots who are off to the better start. And Sunday's game told me a lot that this team is starting to be that kind of team where you're seeing some confidence now in that offense that we hadn't seen in a little bit of while. And I say that, and I'll start with Drake May. I thought he looked very poised. I thought he looked very confident. I thought his feet were still only when he had to move. He's making the right reads. He's finding the open man, and he's spreading the ball around now, Paul, and getting deeper shots. Now, again, it was the Saints, not one of the better teams, but we saw some good performance from when he played the Bills, and I liked what I saw from him. And it came to me that, okay, what has been better? Well, they've given him a little bit more time in the pocket. I think he's been confident to say, I trust these guys that I can stay in here now. Yeah, maybe I'll take a hit here and there, but I'm finding the right man. I'm getting the job done. I'll rely on my defense, which has gotten better. And they are now 4-2. They got a little stretch here, Paul. They got the Titans. They got the Falcons. They got the Cleveland Browns. They got some games where, no offense, could be 7-2 in the next 3. Going 3-0 if they can, beat the Titans in Tennessee, who just fired their head coach this morning. That's going to be something. Then you come back with Cleveland at home and then Atlanta. So there's opportunities here to win the next 3 and be 7-2. And, winning creates a chemistry. Winning creates an atmosphere. And that's what Vrabel's trying to do. So nothing against the Boston Bruins. Think they're off to a good start. I love this game that they just played. They were very slow this afternoon. They came out slow, 2 quick goals by Tampa, and then they were chasing. But, boy, did they have a gritty third period, and they got a lot of young kids flying around out there, both offensively and defensively. Korpisalo, Swayman, keeping them in the game. A lot of fun to watch the Bruins in that, that garbage pail type kind of game that they play, and they go at it and see what they can do. But they got a lot of more kids running around and shooting the puck. They outshot them 33-23, but in the end, Tampa got the job done and the win 4-3. So both two exciting teams right now here in Boston. I think you got to have some high expectations if you're a New England fan.
All right. So the question of the day: which team is off to the better start, the New England Patriots or the Boston Bruins? And you can put Chris Santos down in the box of the New England Patriots.
How about
So,
you, Paul? What do you got?
well, I had my mind made up before the show started.
Yep.
And then I too put on the Boston Bruins
Yep.
today. And I thought to myself, okay, is this going to affect my vote? Because this is a close call. They're both off to a great start. You have to
I
credit
think
both
so.
teams, right? I'm a big
Mhm.
Bruins fan. I'm a big Patriots fan. And they're both off to a great start. I'm very excited. So I'm watching the game this afternoon. It's like, well, if the Bruins win this game, right, how can I not give them the vote? I mean, they're basically rolling along undefeated here. But, they played a great game. They come up a little short. But I am going to vote for the New England Patriots like yourself. That's
Mhm.
what I had decided even before the Bruins game. But here's the
Yep.
thing, right? Like you, right? Obviously, each game is worth like 10 Bruin games or something like that,
Correct.
right? Because of the season. But here's
Right.
the thing, right? Drake May combined with that win at Buffalo, there isn't anybody that gave the Patriots a prayer in that game. I mean, maybe some of us who are optimistic might be saying, well, maybe Buffalo could overlook the Patriots. They're undefeated. Maybe the Patriots can go up there and, nobody's expecting anything. And sometimes teams play better when nobody's expecting anything. But by and large, just about everybody was saying the Patriots have no chance, put that down as a loss and everything like that. And for them to go up there and knock Buffalo off in Orchard Park, right? Perhaps one of the best teams in the AFC. I mean, that tells you a lot about the Boston Bruins. The New England Patriots to be able to pull that off, right? So I think that game right there made me pick the Patriots plus the game against the Saints, because a lot of experts were saying, you know what, a team like the Patriots, a young team, they pull off that big upset, there's going to be a big letdown where they go down to New Orleans.
Mhm.
And you really didn't see that. And you're right, Drake May, I hate to mention the name of Tom Brady, okay, but I've been watching the Patriots a long time.
Mhm.
And one of the things I loved about Brady was his ability to be in the pocket. And as the pressure is coming, he takes a step left, a step right, and then throws the ball. He doesn't scramble around like a crazy person. Like you said, happy feet. He drops back, feels the pressure, one step left, one step right, delivers the ball, right? So I'm watching this and I'm like, Jesus, he reminds me of Brady in some of these steps, Hey, it's a young kid. I hate to even say that because people say, what the hell are you talking about? No, I'm just talking about the way he stepped to the left and stepped to the right and stepped up. And then after doing that, delivered the pass. And there was a couple of passes right on a dime. I mean, the receiver was practically, had somebody draped on him, and he dropped the ball right in there. Now again, it turns out the consistency. Can you do it all the time? But I tell you, some of these passes, I thought they were terrific. Stephon Diggs, I mean, how about that game against Buffalo? I mean, I know he wanted to kind of go down there and have a great game, and of course he did. Pop Douglas, is having a good season. The first round pick on the offensive line, he's doing okay, right? So Hunter Henry, of course, is always a weapon too. So you put all that together, the big win at Buffalo, I'm going to have to give the edge to the New England Patriots. But I am excited about this Bruins team. They're getting scoring on the second line and even the third line. So I was happy to see that. So I'm really interested to see how these young kids come together with some of these some of these veterans that they signed. They got a lot of criticism, like they signed all these mediocre veterans,
Mhm.
But I don't know. They seem to be mixing in so far with the young players, and the two goaltenders are doing well. So really, it's really fun watching both of these teams get off to a good start. I mean, I'm a big Patriots fan, big Bruins fan, so I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. And the strength of schedule comes to the forefront when you look at both of them. So if you start with the Bruins, they played the Capitals, then they went Chicago, then they went Buffalo, and now they went with Tampa. So Tampa's kind of the first real one that people got excited about to say, well, let's see how they do against a real good John Cooper team that usually throws out a good lineup every night. So that was impressive. As for the Patriots, yeah, unfortunately for them, people are going to say, well, look at this schedule. That's probably one of the easiest schedules in the league. I get it. Yeah, okay, they played the Saints. And, when we look at comments over here, Lucas Ferreira talked about the Saints. And,
I think he's trying to say I kind of
well,
went off the rails there for a second.
Lucas is a big Saint fan, and he knows that right now that
Oh.
team is not very good. So he's sitting there going, well, let's relax. They've only played the Saints. But, yeah, you're thinking they got Tennessee, who's not been playing well, coming up. Cleveland, been struggling, not been playing well, coming up. They got the Falcons. Let's see what the Falcons do tonight with Buffalo. That will kind of give me an idea of where they're looking right now, how good they are. So, yeah, the schedule is favored the Patriots, but you take advantage of those situations. So they took the upset with Buffalo, which is a division rival, and those things can always happen. And you do what you need to do. They got it done. So the next three, if they don't have any letdown, take advantage of that schedule and get yourself going until you have to play Tampa Bay. And then when you play Tampa Bay, who's been a good, hot team this year in football, down in Tampa, that will tell you a little bit more as well. So looking forward to the next 3 to 4 weeks to see how they really do.
All right, we're going to go to the phones, but I did want to remind you, Chris, and I think you already know this, if the Buffalo Bills get beat tonight,
yep,
my New England Patriots will be in first place.
That's correct.
In the AFC East. First place in the AFC East. Can you imagine that? I mean, who would have thunk that? I mean, it's very early. No, I don't want to get too excited like Lucas says, but I mean, just the thought that we can be in first place in the AFC East.
Well,
so
listen, when you get 4 wins every year, and you're 4-0 right away with the Jets and the Dolphins, I mean, two organizations that don't know if they're coming or going. It's always nice to have 4 wins under your belt. It's just whatever you can do after that. So,
all right.
It's a good win.
Well, this next caller you're going to want to talk to, Chris. Nelson from Fall River.
Oh, hello. Boy. Oh.
New England, settle down, settle down. Winter is coming.
Wow.
And I mean that in a sense that this whole high horse you're on, I will be the first one to say, come down to reality. Because beating the lowly Saints is not going to do it. Just get off the sugar high and lower expectations. The likes of Brady. Listen, Brady's gone. Those days are gone. And I'm going to say every single season, I'm going to say, the Patriots lose. I'm going to be the Puerto Rican Big Papi in the South Coast against the Patriots.
So the week before when they beat that New York team, the week before when they beat that New York team, that meant nothing?
It meant nothing.
Okay.
It meant nothing. Look, the season just started. Let's see how it all plays out. But I'm just saying, New England, lower your expectations.
Okay.
Just lower, just a little.
Okay.
Well, that Buffalo, that was a big win. You must have watched that game, right? What did you think about that win? And what about, obviously the Saints game? You said the Saints aren't that good, but you got to be impressed. I mean, Drake May, right? Don't you think he's looking pretty good for a young quarterback?
Look, this is what I will respond to in regards to what's been happening in New England. To answer your question for the show, the Bruins are off to a better start than
okay.
Than the Patriots.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because you know where I stand with the Patriots. I don't care what they do. They're never going to do good in my eyes because I see things for where they are. And look, football's a tough sport. I get that. But the guys, the comments that I'm reading online from Patriots fans, it's like they're making it seem like they're going to the Super Bowl. Like they're talking like the old days, all through X, all these social media. I'm like, the season just started.
Yeah, I know when Chris went to work, right? Chris texted me when he went to work. I think it was the day after the Buffalo game. He sent me a message said, "Hey, we got some guys over here that think the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. They're delirious." Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get excited. There's no question about it. We like to get excited. But by the way, I do want to drop something in here, and I hate to do this to you, but did you watch the baseball playoffs the last few weeks?
Yes, I witnessed the Pinstripes send home the Red Sox.
Yes,
that was great.
Yeah, that was great. But then what happened to him right after that?
Well, look. Here's the thing, right? It doesn't matter what happens. 27 World Championships, and for all of New England, when it comes to baseball, the fan base can say what they want. At the end, I'm going to end the conversation with this final thought: just bow down and kiss the rings. All 27, one by one.
Those Yankees fans, they got to go back to Babe Ruth, and Lou Gehrig and all these things like from a bygone era. You know what I mean? How many? Who's won the most championships in this century?
Listen, 27, baby. That's where it starts, And that's where it will always end, because every single season they're always going to bring up that number.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
Hey, one by one, just kiss the rings one by one.
They have to live by
something,
Paul. They have to live by something, Paul. There's nothing there for them. So they got a result today. Now, listen. Now, the week before when the Patriots played Buffalo, I was hoping that Nelson was going to come on the line and we could have talked to him about that game. But rumor has it there was some police out in Fall River looking for him, because after that Yankees loss, they couldn't find him anywhere, and they were really worried about him. So he didn't have a chance to really talk about the Bills and Patriots game, because, after the Yankees got beat there against Toronto, they couldn't find Nelson. But I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's here. His Giants and Jackson Dot trying to work their way. Forget the Jets. The Jets have no chance. They have no clue. So forget that team. And I know he's got Jets, Giants, Buffalo. He's got 3 teams to choose from, Paul, because he's a New Yorker. He can choose from any one of those 3 and ride the wave. But right now, it is what it is.
He's got teams all over the place in New York, and they all stink. They all stink, every single one of them.
For football, I have to say, I'm liking what Jacksonville is doing. I really like. I know they lost the recent game, but I really like what they're doing over there. They are really defying expectations, and they're hanging in the standings in the AFC South. So that's a team that I'm looking at. But look, in the wild card, right?
Yeah.
The New England, the Red Sox fans were upset because they couldn't purchase tickets to go to Yankee Stadium. You want to know who they can thank? Me. That's who.
Yeah.
Because I said, if you want to go watch that game in person, you're gonna have to drive to Yankee Stadium, go through the traffic, waste the gas. But I'll say this though before I go, because I know you guys got to play that callers. If I had 2 tickets left to give to Red Sox fans, you want to know who I would give it to? I would give it to these 2 gentlemen running this show, the Santos on Sports. These guys, the Santos brothers, I would gladly extend that service to you guys, because I like you guys. You guys have a good show, and that's where I would go with if I had 2 tickets left and I was in charge of who to choose. I would choose both of you.
That's very nice of you to say that.
Hey, listen, we appreciate that, Nelson. We appreciate that. I know we're away during the summer a little bit, and spending some time with the family and things. But I heard you ask for us, like where we've been. Well, we're back right now. I'm glad you're always on as usual to give us your New York insight, which is always great around here in the New England land. So, wish you nothing but the best. With your 3 football teams, and hopefully one of them gets on top.
All right. Hey, Nelson, thanks very much.
I'll say this also too. The Cowboys, hey, listen, they're definitely never going anywhere. I mean, it's just you have AI showing that Prescott crying on the sidelines.
No defense right now. Got to find some defense. Can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
I think you could get 10 guys out of Fall River. You play quarterback and still could score against Dallas.
All right, hey, listen, Dallas needs a lot of help, and to lose against who they lost to, I mean, it's just something has to happen. They need changes, and they need to start with the owner.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, everybody
needs to go.
Yeah, everybody.
So,
all right, Nelson. Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate your support. And call again. Thank you very much, Nelson from Fall River. Oh, he's all fired up, but great guy and our follower, one of our top callers. So we're always happy to hear from Nelson. But yeah, he had to slip in the Cowboys at the end there. That was a good one. The Cowboys struggling a little bit.
He knows what fan I am, and he knows that we're a rival with his Giants. And right now our defense is pathetic. We can't stop anybody. And I'll say it like it is. We are struggling. For me, I would fire my defensive coordinator on the spot and get a new guy in there immediately, because what I've seen, what Russell Wilson did against them, 450 yards and scored 37 points. Never mind what the Panthers have done and a couple other teams. The offense hasn't been that bad. And even without Lamb, they're still scoring 30 points a game. And Dak has actually looked pretty decent. But the defense has been pathetic. They've been awful. They can't do anything right. Some definitely changes need to be done there. But, you play it week by week and trying to find a way for them to get better. I know we lost Micah Parsons, but I'm not going to say one guy was going to completely overhaul and change that whole defense, because it wasn't going to happen. That's for sure.
All right. Well, Lucas Ferreira reminds Nelson from Fall River
Oh,
that
yes.
the entire Yankees championship history took place before Puerto Rico was even a U.S. territory. That's how far back they have to go to give us the business.
That's
Can you
it.
imagine that?
That's how far they have to go.
All right. Let's go to Ben from Dartmouth, who's calling from Dean College. Hello.
Hey, Benno.
Hello, Paul. Hello, Chris. How
What's
are
There you
going
go, Ben.
on?
Hey, Benno.
you? Doing well. How about you?
Hey, we're doing good. We're feeling good. Our teams are all off to a good start here.
Yeah, both of our teams are off to a good start. The Bruins tough loss today, but
Yeah.
they look pretty sharp, especially offensively throughout the past 3 games. Getting some shots on goal and stuff like that. I think Swayman's playing a heck of a year this year too, as well. So off to a good start for the Bruins, but the Patriots, on the other hand, man, they went into Buffalo. They were predicted to be favored as Super Bowl champions this year and all that kind of stuff.
Still favored as the number 1 team to win the Super Bowl. Still the Buffalo Bills.
And we beat them.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
came into Buffalo with pretty much high hopes. Drake May and Stephon Diggs, a complete masterclass from both of them, clashed out. Ended the Bills' undefeated season that it was 4-0, and it's just the turning point of the Patriots season. I think we're going to expect more from them this season. They played a heck of a great game yesterday. Drake May still looking impressive. Through 18 games, he's had better stats than Tom Brady. I'm not going to go that far right now, but let's see how the Patriots do throughout the rest of the season.
All right. So in answering the question, which team is off to the better start, you're leaning Patriots?
I'm 100% leaning towards the Patriots. I think Mike Vrabel came into this Patriots franchise, 2 consecutive 4-13 seasons, and through 6 games, he's won 4 games. So, just impressive.
They haven't been fumbling the ball like that game a few weeks ago where it was like fumbleitis.
Well, let's remember, and let's remember here, guys, this is not a very good rushing football team right now. Henderson and Stevenson have both been struggling. They didn't get much yardage at all against the Saints. So they had to rely on the pass to get the job done. So they went in another direction and they got the job done. They need to get some quality running, though, from those 2 guys who I think can still do the job. So they have to get better in that category if they want to keep continuing to succeed in the NFL.
Yeah, and it seemed like, Drake May, right? He seems to be good at extending plays, this last, say, 3-4 weeks. And, they had him rolling out, and he's very dangerous when he's rolling out because he can find a receiver. He's looking downfield. He can find a receiver that gets open. And then if no one's open, he's been really smart about running the ball and sliding and getting out of bounds. He hasn't been taking any big hits too often. Every once in a while, he gets a hit snuck in there. But by and large, he's really, I thought, run the ball well, Chris, too.
He's confident. He's poised. He knows when to flush. And then you saw how strong he was. The guy was draping on him from Buffalo, ready to pull him down. And he did a little sidearm slingshot, and he still got it off and still made the completion. So he's doing the right things right now that Vrabel wants to see. And you know what? And people are going to ask about Vrabel, and I'm going to say no. I'm giving this one to Josh McDaniels. I think he's done a good job with Drake May and finding what's comfortable for Drake May and keeping him happy and not scattering and running all over the place. So I'm giving the offensive coordinator a little bit more credit than I am Vrabel. I think McDaniels has done well with Drake May.
I mean, I can just say this. I can agree and disagree on the take on Josh McDaniels. I agree that Josh McDaniels has created Drake May into a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the league currently at this time. But I disagree on the fact that Josh McDaniels, his play calls were questionable, especially running 3rd down and 7, a halfback draw, which is kind of questionable in that key situations. But you could throw a check down on 3rd down and 7, a 2nd down play, you run a halfback draw. I still question that call too. But on the Drake May side of the story, people when he got drafted by the Patriots, people were like comparing him to Josh Allen, and he's looking like it. I mean, he's got an arm. He's very sneaky and running, and he's very like slippery too. So, and not only that, he's been elite. He's got more like better rushing stats than Josh Allen this year so far. So
how excited should we be, Ben? We're looking forward to some of these games here. I mean, we're fans, so we tend to get overexcited when things are going well and tend to get a little more negative when they're not going well. But how excited should we be at this point in the season, do you think?
I think the next 3-game stretch,
That's what Chris said.
Yeah, our next 3 games are Tennessee, Cleveland. I'll be at that Cleveland game, and then the Falcons. Those next 3 games are kind of an easy stretch for the Patriots, but keep the foot on the gas, keep the wagon rolling. I mean, they're looking phenomenal, and hopefully they can continue this successful season. After having 2 terrible seasons, falling into the top 5 picks in both years. This is, Vrabel's done a phenomenal job regrouping this team and trying to bring the old Patriots back to where they were before. So, and it's just the start of it.
All right, Ben. Hey, we appreciate you calling. Keep up the fun and keep up your enthusiasm for our teams. And hey, when you're at that Cleveland Browns game, was it the Cleveland Browns game that you're going to?
Yes.
I'm going to the Browns game.
I expect to see some pictures and videos up on your Facebook page.
Of course, there will be, for sure.
All right, Ben, thank you very much. Ben from Dartmouth.
All right, see you.
All right, 774-218-3393. We only have one line, so this is a good time to call after our caller hangs up. And we've heard from a couple of our regulars. But, yeah, it's kind of interesting because, we do tend to get negative when things are bad, when, our teams are losing. And it's like, oh, fire this one. I mean, how many times do we hear fire Alex Cora, Then the next thing you know, they're in the playoffs and people flipped on that. Then they got beat. It's like, fire him again. So we have these wild swings in how fans look at these games. But, I'm looking at the Patriots. One of the things, of course, their schedule is definitely better this year. That's not always going to be the case. Here's an opportunity for them to end up a few games over 500. And, you and I picked them to be 9-7, I think. Is it 9-7 or 10-7 maybe, or 9-8?
10-7, I think.
10-7, I think we figured, although not quite the way it's happened. They're winning games we thought they would lose and losing games we thought they would win. But, 10-7, I mean, that would get them in the playoffs. I mean, it'd be a wild card game. And, obviously you want to be able to go in the wild card game and not get blown out like the last time. But
Paul, let's be realistic, Paul. Coming into this season, please tell me that you weren't thinking this is a Super Bowl contending team.
No. I was hoping that they could sneak into the playoffs.
So let's settle down. Making the playoffs would be huge for this team.
Yes, absolutely.
Considering only winning 4 games last year. The problem with the media is the hype of, okay, we beat one team, we're going to the Super Bowl. No, you can't. I mean, yeah, okay, you can think that way. But realistically, let's be honest. It's just about advancing and getting to the playoff. That would be outstanding.
I don't think anybody's thinking they're going to the Super Bowl.
Ah, Paul, come on. There's people out around here. There's media around here. Oh, yeah. The next 3 weeks, those are 3 easy wins. We're going to be 7-2, and we're moving right on to the Super Bowl. Listen, I'm telling you, Paul, I hear it every day.
You heard that they're going to the Super Bowl? Oh, my God.
Listen, I walk into the gym. As soon as I walk in the gym, we're back. And I'm like, well, where you been? Well, we're back. I'm like, okay. Everybody just settle down. Be realistic. It's one step at a time. The playoffs would be outstanding for the New England Patriot fan base. I would start there. Hopefully they can do that. If they make the Super Bowl, go get them.
Hey, look at that last comment.
I knew he'd chime in. That's just a matter of time.
The guy from Chicago says Super Bowl, baby. Super Bowl, baby.
Wait a minute. Underneath that, I want to see, I guarantee it.
No, that's
yes, I do. No, I want to see underneath that. It says, I guarantee it.
Hey, I'm going to go. I got a call coming in from that Punch and Judy hitter there,
Oh, yeah. He's a good guy.
Now, Butch from McCushion. Hey, Butch, how are you?
Geez, you had Nelson from Fall River. Now you got Mr. Guarantee calling in from Chicago. Holy mackerel!
Wow, everybody's all
That's how
fired
we
up.
roll here on Santos on Sports.
It's a it's a couple of games early into the season. People got him going to the Super Bowl, and they got the quarterback winning MVP.
He's looking like Tom Brady out there.
Oh, Jesus!
Come on, I saw him like duck out of a pocket a couple of times. I'm like, wow, he looks like TB12 over there, you know?
He doesn't really duck out of. I like the way that he steps up in the pocket.
Right.
He just does a good job at that.
Yeah, he does.
Great job this week in that.
So the question, which team is off to the better start? Did you have an opinion on that?
I got to think that this is a nice surprise for the Patriots. I don't think. I know I didn't expect this, but looking back, I just had a conversation with with my son, and I don't think that you can underestimate what Josh McDaniels does for this team. I always thought that Bill Belichick had put a coaching staff together that certainly early on, maybe not later on, that really, really contributed to the wins and the success of that team. And Josh McDaniels, I mean, you look at Vrabel doesn't have to call plays. He's walking up down the sideline, delegates a lot of the offense right to Josh. That's a huge, and he's very competent. And I think he's really good for the quarterback. I'm surprised. It's early. Listen, I picked them to win 8 games. It's early. If they win 8 games, I'll be happy, and that'll be a great improvement. It's tough though. You got to keep it in perspective. But I do think they're off to a very, very good start.
Now, you mentioned Josh McDaniels, right? I mean, he brought Mac Jones along very nicely until he ended up leaving and things went sideways. And now you're seeing him bringing along this quarterback. So we've seen him do it before with the young quarterbacks, and I think you're right. And I think Chris is right, too. You have to give him a lot of credit.
Chris and I had that discussion, and I think we might have even had it yesterday about not on someone who's not on the field but contributes a lot to the success of this team. That guy's probably one of the best offensive coordinators in football. And, they don't put offensive coordinators in the Hall of Fame, but he was with Tom Brady many, many years, and you never hear Tom Brady say a bad thing about Josh McDaniels or criticize him in any way. He managed that very nicely.
I absolutely agree there, and we did talk about that yesterday as we watched the Patriots. And again, you can make a play call that no one's going to like, and why did he call a draw there, or why did he call a screen? And we don't know all the ins and outs. I mean, audibles can be called at the line of scrimmage. Check with me's at the line of scrimmage. There's a lot going on that happens during the game, and maybe May goes up to the line and says, holy cow, they look like they're going to stop every pass I can throw. So, we're going to run it instead. So I check it off. There's just a lot of things that go on that we just don't know about on every play. That's just the way that it is. But when you watch the confidence and the poise and the step up in the pocket and then know when to get out of the pocket, still have the arm strength, still make the right read, still pick up that first down when you need it to continue a drive. Something we haven't seen in New England in years, and you're trying to find it. You're seeing it now a little bit more and more. That's called confidence. That's building a relationship. And I think McDaniels has done an outstanding job with this young man and trying to put him in the right direction and the right key moments to advance his team. And I don't care who you play. It's an NFL Sunday, and anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday. So the Patriots just have to make it right. Yes, they got Tennessee this week. They're supposed to beat them. The following week, they got Cleveland. Doesn't have a bad defense. Their offense has been completely nothing. So they're struggling. So it should be 2 weeks in a row that the Pats should feel confident going into the next one, not looking ahead. Stay within yourselves, get the next 2, then see what happens with Atlanta and Tampa, and go from there.
I'm going to put this out there, Chris. NFL teams, the first game they play after firing their head coach majority of the time comes back and wins.
Interesting.
They're playing Vrabel's old team.
Yep.
This is a big game because it's the next game. They can't take this game lightly against Tennessee.
Yeah, and as Chris said, anybody can beat anybody. So we're looking at the
They
schedule.
really can.
Yeah, you look at the schedule, especially in the AFC, but in the league in totality, right? You know, you look at these next 3 games, and, you know, Patriot fans might say, well, you know, we should be able to win all 3 of these or something like that. You don't know that. You don't know anything from week to week. The Patriots lost a couple of games we thought they were going to win earlier in the year.
Especially this year. Look at Indianapolis. Look at some of these teams that are beating teams. Look at the Giants.
How about the Ravens at 1-5?
How
about the Baltimore Ravens at 1-5?
Yeah, it's another thing.
Who would have thought that?
It's kind of flipped upside down there in a couple of these divisions, but it's been good for the area. It's been good. Chris and I got to laugh. We're not going to the Super Bowl. Take it easy. I think he was coming out of the gym the other day.
Yeah.
Some kid got in his face and said, "We're back." I mean, you won one game for crying out loud.
I mean, they might have just been like, kind of like ribbing you a little bit,
Oh, yeah. Well,
they may not really believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe he wanted me to save it for the show so I can get him on the show. Maybe that was it. I don't know.
Hey, Butch, how about this, right? If the Buffalo Bills lose tonight, your New England Patriots are in first place in the AFC East. I'm just stating a fact.
We can't have that happen. Everybody will be, Jesus, they'll be making, where are we going to get the hotel for the Super Bowl?
First place, baby. First place could be tonight.
And Paul, you know what's next, right?
What's next?
Every Friday, doesn't matter what workplace you at, wear your Patriots gear. They're playing this weekend.
Oh, yeah, the Patriots gear starts coming out again. We haven't really seen it lately, right?
Where's that been for the last 4 or 5 years? Nowhere to be found. But now, wait a minute. Friday comes, wear your Patriots gear to work.
Yeah.
Because now, the Pats are playing well. This is how society works for us now, Paul. Only when
What did you do for me lately?
It's what you do for me lately. That is correct.
And the reverse happens too, right? The reverse happens too. When the Red Sox were 3 or 4 games under 500, I mean, they were calling for Alex Cora's head. You know what I mean? It was just and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, Alex Cora is doing a good job with leaving the starting pitcher in there and all this kind of thing, and then the Red Sox got beat by the Yankees. Oh, fire him again, go like all these wild.
What have you done for me? Listen, with that, and I told Butch this, and when they played the New York Yankees, I said to Butch, for this team to even make the wild card in the playoffs was a success for what Alex Cora had to go through that entire year with injuries and trades and the guys that he had in the lineup. It's completely unbelievable that they still made the wild card. Would never thought they would have.
And actually, Butch, Chris pointed out to me, and I'm watching the game, right? And I'm just, kind of rooting for the Red Sox, and they're that scrappy team. And they were a fun team to watch all year. I mean, every single night I'm watching these games, and it's 2-2, 3-3, 8th inning, 9th inning, right? Bringing in the closer and extra innings, and just a fun, scrappy team. So we get into the playoffs, and Chris is like, take a look at these lineups, So I'm kind of looking at the lineup. I'm like, holy crap, We aren't even in the same league with this lineup that they have, right?
Not even close.
So of course, Crochet pitches that fantastic game. Alex Cora did the right thing. I think he brought in Chappie with 2 outs in the 8th, and they ended up going right to Chappie. Yep. And then the second game was their chance to steal it. And when the Yankees won that second game, the third game, hey, now you're throwing a couple of rookies in there. Anything can happen. And, of course, the kid from New York, he pitched a phenomenal game. That was the end of that. But I'll tell you, they were that close. But Chris was right. When I actually looked at the lineup after, I was like, wow, I wasn't really thinking about it. But, their lineup was so superior to the Red Sox.
I remember calling up Chris and saying, who is that at second base? I mean, we were 3/4 of the way through the season. I was like, who the hell is this guy,
Yeah, and they grabbed the guy off waivers and put him at first base, and he started hitting the ball around,
Yeah, he did. They just put a team together, and they did play hard, and I will agree with you, Paul. I enjoyed watching.
Oh, it was entertaining. Oh, it was so entertaining.
It was.
Every single night, in fact, I'd be texting back and forth with my son. And sometimes my wife would want to start watching some on Netflix or something. So I'd pick the game up in the 6th, 7th inning, and every single night it was 2-2, 3-3, 1-1, extra innings. Chappie comes in, this and that, close game. But then, of course, Crochet, when he pitches, that's a whole event, when he was hot, especially earlier in the season. And then he picked up steam at the end, too. But I got to tell you, it was some scrappy, exciting games. And now you got the pitch clock. I love the pitch clock. I love the pitch clock.
The new rules.
Oh,
I really do.
I love it.
Yeah, there's not one that I dislike. I like all the new rules. I love the pitch clock. I love that you got to pitch to 3 guys if you come in off the bullpen.
Right.
I love the no defensive, positioning.
Right.
With the limitations on that. It just made the game quicker and more entertaining.
Even the extra innings during the regular season, putting the guy on second base, I think it's great. I mean, usually, in the old days, I'm not going to watch a regular season game going into the 15th inning. But now you put that guy at second base, and now usually the game is decided in the 10th, maybe the 11th at the latest.
Yeah, and if you're the Red Sox, you got to learn how to bunt the ball.
Man, if they could have just got that bunt down, and I like Sadon too. He's got that flair for the dramatic, but man, we really needed that bunt to go down there.
I thought he bunted the ball. That's the plan. The strikeouts infuriating. The number of strikeouts that team had. But it was, again, they've got some, the future's bright for them if they can,
I think
manage it well. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. It's been, it's a nice transition from baseball. Baseball's still going on, and I'll watch the playoffs. But it was a nice transition into the Patriots. We'd be miserable right now if the Patriots were stinking it,
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of pulling for the Brewers because, I like to root for teams that never won. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Small market.
Yeah. I like rooting for the underdogs and stuff like that.
I like the head coach, a really nice guy.
Yeah.
In that series, I thought the injury to Giolito was really important, especially for a guy for game 3. You needed a game 3 starter, and you had Crochet who gave you a great game 1. Then you brought in Bello. But at least if Giolito could start game 3, I think that would have helped the Red Sox. I thought that was a big loss. Now they had to go with a lot of young guys and try to figure out, and he did what he could. 2 innings here, 1 inning here, 2 innings here, like that. So I thought that injury was really devastating to Boston and needed a good quality starter during that series. So unfortunately for them, that to me, that was a big one.
All right. Well, I did get one bucket list thing crossed off. I got to see a game at Dodger Stadium. I went out to California with my wife, and I'm like, we got to go to Dodger Stadium. So I crossed that one out. And then the next one, if Mark from Chicago was still listening, I got to see a game at Wrigley. I don't know if you guys seen a game at Wrigley before?
I have been to Wrigley. I have been to Wrigley with this gentleman that we're talking to, Paul.
Good. How was that? Was that fun?
Well, it was good until, Butch yelled at a certain pitcher on the other team, and the guy jawed at him, and we were just having a lot of fun with him, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. So you recommend it, right? You recommend it?
Yeah, it was, and then we went and then we went to the White Sox game on the other side.
We saw 2 Cubs games, 2 White Sox games, and we saw the Bears play the 49ers in a preseason all in the same weekend.
Wow. It looks like if I'm going to do that, I don't think I'm going to be bringing my wife to that one.
It was quite a fun weekend. We just had a great time and really enjoyed it. Had some good seats. Really hot during the summer at that time, but the games were outstanding. And Wrigley's something to witness.
Did you throw a few back, Chris? Did you throw a few back? A couple of light beers.
Well, we went to Harry Carey's, of course. You have to go in there and celebrate a little something at Harry's, but that was a good conversation because I had some tickets and I ended up having a few and then trading in those tickets for even better seats. And Butch turned to me and said, "How did you do that?" And I said, "I don't know. It must have been the beer that was talking." But we found a way to do it.
All right. Well, don't forget now, we got to root hard against Buffalo tonight because I want to wake up tomorrow morning in sole possession of first place. What do you think about that? I can feel a little tingling going up and down my spine over here.
The hairs are standing on the back of his neck. There we go.
All right, Butch. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All
right. Butch from the Cushnet. All right. 774-218-3393. Hello to David Mead. I don't know if you have a comment about whether or not you think the Bruins or the Patriots are off to the better start. It seems like most think the Patriots,
Yeah.
obviously because of who they beat and where they are in the standings and all that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And of course, the Bruins just started, and there's a
Mhm.
long season
Long
there.
season.
So yeah, Lucas Ferrer mentioned that was really unfortunate when Duran dropped that ball because he's a scrappy guy. He runs hard, steals bases. I think last year might have been a little bit of an outlier as far as who he really is. I think what he was this year was kind of who he really is. But he's not a bad fielder. He's a good fielder, okay fielder. And in a game like that in the playoffs, you just can't have a mistake like that, and it definitely hurt them.
Oh, easily, and good teams will take advantage of that
Yeah.
when they get that opportunity. But he's a professional ball player, Paul, and yet nerves come into the game. How about the game in the Phillies?
I was going to mention that.
The guy hit the ball to the pitcher. All he's going to do is throw it to first base. He stops, looks at first, then throws it home, then throws it wild. I mean, listen, those are situations that you just have to be ready. And some guys are prepared better, and some guys struggle. And fortunately for Duran, he struggled on that play as that Philly pitcher struggled as well. And those things happen, and we've seen it time and time again. And pressure and nerves are a big part of the game. And unfortunately for Duran, that was a tough time.
Yeah, that Phillies game. I mean, I got to tell you, I felt bad for the guy because I think I was watching the Bruins and I was flipping back and forth.
Yep.
I don't have the whole NBC setup that you have over there. But anyway, I switched over and I'm like, well, let me just watch the end of this game. And when he picked the ball up and threw it away, and he just stood on the mound like this, and I'm like, this guy is going to hear about this Bill Buckner for the rest of it, unless he comes back and they win a championship some other year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That was the thing. Like when Eckersley gave up that home run to Kirk Gibson, I think they won either the next year or the year after. So it's kind of like it kind of helps the situation a little bit. But Bill Buckner, I mean, this guy, he couldn't go anywhere. He ended up moving out to like someplace out the Idaho or something, so he wouldn't see anybody.
Yeah.
And this poor guy is just standing there with his head down, and it's just I felt bad for the guy. You know what I mean? He was
and the funny part is, I mean, you got bases loaded, 2 outs, and you get him to hit a dribbler right back to you. I mean, that's as good as you want it to happen, and you just overthink, and the pressure, the nerves, and what do I do? And oh my God, it came to me, and then all of a sudden, he just went in the opposite direction, unfortunately, and. Yeah, it's a tough time, and people look at it, and you go back and say, well, if I would have done this, and the inning before that, if we would have bunted here, and it comes back to all that kind of thing. So, but it's a big play of the game, obviously, and it just did not go in their favor.
Yeah, I think he walked the 2 guys right before that, so he kind of contributed to walking the bases loaded.
Yeah,
even before that, so that was unfortunate. But I remember one time I saw an interview with Bill Buckner, and a few years had gone by, so he figured, you know what? I'm just going to block that out. I'm just going to sit down, kick back, and, watch the World Series. So he puts the World Series on, and before the game, they went, hey, let's go back and look at some of the moments from the past World Series. There's a little ground ball. Marcus like, Jesus, I just want to sit down and watch the damn game here, Oh, my God. That's tough. You know what I mean? To have to hear that the whole rest of your life, But,
yeah, you just can't get away from it. The other one is obviously the foul ball with the Cubs.
You mentioned Wrigley. That guy, he had to move away. I mean, it was ridiculous.
That guy had death threats. I mean, bad death threats. And that was an opportunity for the Cubs, obviously. And I remember the left fielder going crazy at that time, screaming up a storm. And him just sitting there with his headphones on, not thinking about anything, and just going. And people were just throwing beers at him. And they had security call and get him out. Paul, they did a 30 for 30 on this guy.
I did see it. Did you see the video of the police? The police had to escort him out of the field.
Things like that. When you see shows like that, you just go, oh my gosh. But that's how crazy it gets in today's world. So it is what it is. Steve, yeah, that's right. Steve
Moises Alou. Right. Yeah, right.
And Moises Alou, yep. And
he had the little headset on, kind of
I mean, it's a 30 for 30. Kind of he was on last week, and I was watching it.
Oh, you watched it again? Did you?
It was on 30 for 30 last week, and I was watching it again because they had the Cubs in the playoffs, and they put it on. And I was like, oh, right. Flabbergasted at what you see.
They tried to do an interview with him. They reached out to him. He doesn't want any part of it. He just he's wherever he is. And
I don't even know where he is now.
Yeah, they don't know where he is. Catching Hell. Catching
Yes.
Hell was what the 30 for 30 was called. My goodness.
Yep.
Yeah, those moments. I got to tell you, as a Boston fan, right? We went through a lot here. The Bruins, they won with, Bobby Orr and all that. But after that, they had the lunch pail team, and they never beat the Canadians in the playoffs. So they had one last chance in the too many men on the ice game. Well, the too many men on the ice game, happened in, let me see, would have been April of 79. Well, in October of 78, just 6 months before that, that was the Bucky Dent game. So within 6 months of each other was the Bucky Dent game, right?
And then Guy Lafleur.
Yeah, then Guy Lafleur. All right, here we go. We got a call coming in from Charleston, South Carolina. It's Lucas. Hey, Lucas.
There we know. He must have been watching Catching Hell.
Lucas, you're on.
Gotcha. Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. I just, there's something that's kind of itching at me with this Patriots fandom and excitement.
Yep.
Jog my memory. Did Mac Jones go into Orchard Park as a rookie and defeat the Buffalo Bills? Yes or no?
I believe he did. Yes, in that very, very cold game where they kept running the ball. Yes.
I believe that they went to the playoffs that year and got stomped by that same Bills team. If I'm correct.
That is true.
I believe it built up a lot of hype, and a lot of people compared the less than mobile, which some would say was a little racially motivated in how they went after his lack of mobility. But I'll leave that for another time.
Mm-hmm.
He compared him to Tom Brady and his ability to throw the football because he was this white, nerdy type of dude. Now you get a somewhat more athletic kid in there, and Drake May, who I like and I'm a fan of, being comped to Tom Brady again. We should not go back down this road. When you beat the fork in the road, and I guess if at some point you go right three times in a row, at some point you're going to be right, but you're not.
Chris.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little premature.
Listen, Paul, he's a realist. He understands. He's a Pat fan, but he's realistic. Some people are not realistic.
I got to tell you,
I'm not a Patriot fan at all. I mean, I'm a Saints fan, unfortunate as that is.
Saints fan.
I would say that I think we're probably the worst organization in professional football, but the Jets are really competing for that spot. The over-under for Justin Fields' passing yards was 108.5 this past weekend, and you could have bet the under for the house and made out like a bandit, and that's despicable in professional football.
Hey, by the way,
whether what time zone you're playing in,
I want to tell you guys, I'm chuckling for a number of reasons. The whole thing about the Patriots fans going over the top and all that, but the other reason why I'm chuckling is your voice and your dad's voice sounds so much alike that I'm just.
Listen, being around those two guys, sometimes I'm on the phone and I don't know who's who. So sometimes all three of us are on the line at the same time. I'm trying to figure out who's talking. That's how close it is.
Yeah, your voice sounds just like your dad.
That being said,
we'll have to have us on at the same time.
Yes, now Lucas is a Saint fan. Now Lucas is a Saint fan, but he grew up in a household where it was all obviously Patriots.
Right.
And so I understand.
I grew up in New England. I grew up around the craziness, and for the first 4 years, it seemed reasonable. And I respect the franchise. I respect Belichick. I respect everything about the Patriots organization. Where I get off the boat is with the fans, and not all the fans, just 90% of them.
So how did you become a Saints fan?
I mean, I didn't really follow football much, and then I saw this E60 on Drew Brees after Katrina.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool. 8 or 9 year old me didn't play football really growing up, and I followed that, and
class act.
I was a big fan of what Drew Brees and his wife did, and then of course when I pick up the fandom at that point, I start to follow him, and Drew Brees goes off and beat Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl and holding up the baby. It was hard to. I was sold at that point. So
yeah, and they really should have had another one if it wasn't for that pass interference.
And Paul, he wasn't brain washed.
Really gets me into the Minneapolis Miracle that I think that they were even better set for one. But it's just those are both tough to deal with. And I think for the majority of the good part of his career that the GM fumbled away a lot of defenses that he could have had a really good He could have competed with a couple more Super Bowls.
So,
But
Lucas,
nevertheless,
do you think
one of
that
the better quarterbacks ever.
Absolutely, 100%. And it wasn't for a few lucky bounces here or there, we would have had a number of other Super Bowls. But what I want to ask you was, I know it's early, but you think the Patriots will make the playoffs?
Yeah, you could see the Patriots sneak in at 9-8 or something. I mean, especially with the way that the AFC and everything is played out, with the Colts playing at the level that they've been playing at. You have Harbaugh's Chargers, but the Chiefs are going to come roaring back. I mean, they beat the Lions there, and I think people were panicked there. I could see the Patriots getting into the playoffs, absolutely.
Yeah, well, maybe they can be this year's Washington team,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the hype is there. I think people go a little too fast. They're trying to get back to what was, and it's not what was. But if they appreciate it for what it is, they'll probably live a little longer because it'll be less stressful.
Paul, listen. I've known this man since he was as young as can be. What I'm happy about at 8 and 9 years old, he's not being brainwashed by his father or anyone in that family to be a Pats fan.
Who was a Raiders fan?
But he goes out on his own.
Fan.
Goes out on his own.
Many other people that abandoned their original team.
Wait a minute.
Vikings fans, Raiders fans, Steelers
minute.
fans that said, I'm this fan. I grew up with all around these different people wearing jackets. Patriots rattle off a couple Super Bowls, and people forget about the team that they were watching on Sunday because the Patriots were never on the TV because they were terrible.
Oh, so there were a lot of bandwagon jumpers, huh?
I don't want to go down this road, Paul. I got too many of those people.
I could drop a couple of names. Chris has stayed loyal to the Cowboys through and through.
Well, wait a minute. Did it leak out here that Butch was a Raiders fan? Did you say that, or did I not hear that right?
Oh no, I have. There's a Chuck Gruden visor that I have inherited, which, by the way, is still I think a good look, but it had the Reebok logo and everything on it. There was a Raiders towel. I mean,
the Patriots.
You gotta root for somebody who you can watch, right? And he's not the only one. There's a particular friend of ours that, hey, when the Vikings are looking good, he's a happy man. When the Patriots are looking good too, he's unstoppable. You got the AFC and NFC. Now, if they met in the Super Bowl, I'd be interested to see. He might wear one jacket on top of the other and rip it off by the end of the game.
Listen, the guy's got the NFL covered. He's got the covered in the best of both worlds. And, there's a lot more like
it's
that.
not just the two of them. There's a good chunk of people that would have probably done the same thing in regard to the New England Patriots. And some could say who would blame them until Robert Kraft took over, but
we're back, baby. We're back, baby.
Cowboys fan, as far as I can tell.
Right, so you got to give him that. He's not going to change. He's going to be a Cowboys fan right down to the death.
No, I mean, I'll chuckle and laugh at all the Cowboys hate, but in my heart, I'm always like him and Mark Jordan are both some authentic, true Cowboys fans that drink the Kool-Aid, that are legitimate human beings that I say, man, I'm glad the Cowboy. And then I think about Chris and Mark, and I go, wait a second, I can't go that. I gotta. Those are my guys. I can't say no. So I always the Cowboys hate is dialed back a little bit as opposed to the rest of the NFL, where it's like I can't get down with that because I think Chris and Mark, and I say those are good people. If they don't drink the Kool-Aid, think of them.
All right, Lucas. Hey, thanks a lot for calling in. We always enjoy your contribution.
Thanks, fellas.
All right,
Thanks,
Lucas
buddy.
Ferreira. Lucas Ferreira. Oh, that's when his voice not only does it sound like Butch, but when he gets excited, even more so. You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah.
I
recognize the voice.
Genes. It's just it's a fun thing to have. And there are times I've called on the phone. I say, "Hey, Butch, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh no, it's Lucas." And I go, "Oh, okay, I messed that up." But yeah, sound much alike. I'm
a little older than you,
quality young man that's going in the right direction, and
absolutely.
Helped him out a little bit in his young career, and now he is just blossoming, and taking off, and couldn't be more happy for the young man.
Yeah, me too. I got to tell you mentioned the Oakland Raiders. I don't know. You were probably I was probably in high school, so you were probably like you're 10 years younger than me, so you might have been like 8, 9 years old. The Patriots were playing against the Raiders in 1976, and the Sugar Bear Hamilton call. The Patriots got screwed. They should have won that game.
Yeah, and that's is that the one where Stabler fell down and just threw a ball and got in the end zone and Casper caught the ball?
Yeah, that's exactly the game I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, that was just, Patriots should have won that game. Now, by the same token, hey, look, I'm a Patriots fan. I mean, that Tuck rule, right? That was a fumble. Okay, I'm sorry. I disagree with my Patriot fan. I mean, there's no way he was trying to throw that ball. You know what I mean? So they can say the interpretation, this and that. That was a very, very lucky break that we got. And who knows if the Patriots lose that game? Yeah, I don't know what the next year they were 500, back to 500 again. Maybe things start rolling again. But sometimes you don't know what would happen after that. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, listen, organizations and Lucas talked about the game with Minnesota against the Saints and that miracle that they had. You talk about Tennessee when they had their miracle. You talk about the Cowboys when Staubach had his Hail Mary miracle. That's just part of football. That's part of baseball. That's part of hockey. Bruins come back against the Maple Leafs.
Well, we had the Mother's Day miracle, the Red Sox.
I mean, listen, there are tons of things like that, and that's what makes sports great. For those moments to happen and say, one, you were a part of it, you were there, or two, you saw it, and you go, I can't believe this happened. But it's outstanding. Absolutely love it. It's just great for the sports world, and always look forward to things like that.
All right, let's thank our sponsors, Attorney John B. Seed, Lakeville Athletic Club, Citywide Glass, and Scotty's Pub of Fall River. By the way, a little side note here, Scotty's Pub. A friend of mine, Nilton DeAndre, and myself, we went over to Scotty's Pub one day, and we entered into the karaoke contest,
Oh, boy.
And both of us made it past the first round, so we're now in the quarterfinals.
Oh.
So tomorrow night, we're going to be down there. Not tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we're going to be down there. Hey, it's just we have a shot to win the thing. No, we're kind of like the Patriots. I just want to get to the next round.
Yes.
So that's all I can say.
I may have to show up and make a vote.
Oh, no. No, that's fine. I was going to say you might make me nervous, but no. Hey, I got to be able. I got to be able to handle whoever's in the crowd.
That's
right.
I mean?
I can't be running away from.
What did you sing in round one?
I wanted to sing Summer Wind, but somebody else picked it, so then I couldn't pick it. So I sang Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis.
Okay.
Wise men say.
Yep.
And then I sang, what was the other song that I sang? I think it was a Sinatra song, if I'm not mistaken.
So you have a couple in mind for Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of mine. I don't know.
Oh boy, Butch,
that's what I get for shooting off my mouth.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Butch, we got a date. We're gonna go.
I'm gonna be like that guy in the mound that threw the ball to the backstop. I'm gonna choke under pressure.
Can't get the words out.
But anyway, now who's Buffalo playing tonight? The Buffalo Bills.
Atlanta.
All right. Well, Atlanta. What's their record? Are they trying to think?
What are they? 2-2.
2-2. So they're obviously Buffalo is better than they are. Is the game in Atlanta?
Yes.
All right. So
I believe so.
All right. So let's go Atlanta, baby.
They're 2-2. 4-1 against 2-2 at Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta, baby. Hot Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
By 11:30 tonight. By 11:30. Never mind tomorrow morning. By 11:30 tonight, we, the Patriots fans, could be back atop of the AFC East. Imagine that, in first place in the AFC East.
You're back, baby.
I can't believe it. I'm saying this, but imagine that, Chris.
Yeah, you can. That's a very good analogy because facts.
That's just the fact. I'm not being. I'm just telling you what the facts are. If Buffalo loses tonight, the Patriots are in first place. They'll have the same record as Buffalo, and they'll have the tiebreaker.
Butch, so 8 o'clock, Scotty's Pub, Wednesday night. Let's be ready.
All right. Hey, for Chris Santos, I'm Paul Santos of Santos on Sports. We had a fun show today. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you all again soon.